Welcome to Mighty Mornings. I'm Mary.
And I'm Lindsay. Let's dive in. So as we know, pickleball is one of the fastest growing and most talked about sports these days, and I don't really know a whole lot about pickleball. So I have recruited one of our health coaches, Diane, here. She's an avid pickleball player, to talk to us a little bit about pickleball and inform us a little bit about how the game works and tell us her experience. So welcome, Diane.
Hi, Lindsay. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So yeah, let's get into it. First of all, like I said, I'm not super familiar with pickleball. So can you just give us a little brief explanation of what pickleball is?
Pickleball. Okay. Well, it's sort of a cross between tennis and ping pong. It's the best way I can describe it. People do play singles, but ordinarily most people play with four, so doubles.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's a kind of condensed version of tennis that you can play either with just one other person or you can have teams and kind of make a fun game out of it.
Yeah, so it's played with a paddle, a pickleball paddle, and the ball is not like a tennis ball or a ping pong ball. It's like a wiffle ball with a bunch of holes in it. And there are indoor balls and there are outdoor balls.
Interesting. Interesting. So a little bit of a safer, low impact version of tennis, which is nice with the wiffle ball versus the hard tennis ball. Or would you say the wiffle ball hurts you too much?
I've seen people get hit. Let's just put it this way. I'm a safety girl. I wear safety goggles because I've been in games where people got hit in the eye. And yes, the ball's a wiffle ball, but when you've got people hitting that ball at 60 miles an hour, that tends to sting a little bit. So
I bet. Oh, well, I'm glad that there's safety in place. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So we know what pickleball is now. So can you tell us a little bit about how it's played?
So the rules of pickleball are a little bit different than ping pong, and they're a little bit different than tennis. So tennis is like love, 15, 30, 40, add in, add out. With pickleball, so if you're playing with four people, you have two people that serve on each side. So the scoring is usually from, up to 11. In the pros, I think they play up to 15, sometimes 21, but most of us recreational players play to 11. And so one person on the team serves, and if they win the point, they just keep serving. If you lose the point, the second person serves. But how you keep score is a little confusing in the beginning. So you first say which server you are. You're either 1 or 2. Then you say the score. So the person serving has to say which server they are, and then you say the score. So that takes a little bit of getting used to. It kind of throws people off a little bit. But after you get that, you're good.
So not necessarily all a physical game, but also a little bit of a mental game as well.
A little bit.
Remember the score, which player you are, all of that stuff. So it sounds like a score-based game. Is there, how long is the average game? How long does it take to play?
That's hard to say. So I've played games, I play in a league, and I've played games that have lasted 45 minutes. I mean, I played a game where it took us almost 10 minutes to score because we were all about the same skill level, and I just couldn't score. Depends on the people you're playing, if the skill levels are matched or not. I mean, I've won a game in 4 minutes or
wow,
lost the game in 4 minutes too. And there's a lot of strategy involved in pickleball. You can play the game and just kind of keep hitting the ball over, the net, but that's not really a strategy game.
Wow, yeah, I'd love to discuss a little bit more of that for sure. But I first would love to know, you've been playing for a long time. You love it, obviously. So can you talk a little bit about, the health benefits of pickleball and what you benefit from it? Can it replace a traditional workout, do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, again, it's like anything that you do, any sport, any exercise, it's how much you put into it. It's a lot of anaerobic because you're stopping and starting. So it's like interval training. And it's actually really good for your heart to speed up your heart and then to slow it down and speed it up and slow it down. And you can sweat your butt off. So, yeah, I'm gassed after 6 or 7 games. I'm tired.
Well, yeah, if you think about it, you're running back and forth. You're, lots of kind of agility too, probably thrown in there. Balance, I would assume.
It's everything.
Full body workout.
It's balance. It's actually a lot of bursts of movement because there's certain times where you're literally. I mean, the game is played what's called the kitchen or the no volley zone, and the key is to get up to that zone, and you want to get up to it quickly in many cases. So you're bursting to get up there. So yeah, it can be a very high intense game for sure.
Love it. Yeah, lots of great ways to stay fit, which is amazing, or a great way to stay fit in a lot of ways, I guess I should say. So that's great. So let's talk a little bit about the logistics. You talked a little bit about like the paddle and the type of ball. So like, what are the best types of paddles, I guess, or like what is the paddle specifically like made of that makes it so great to play with?
Oh, that's a good question. There's so many materials, and like in any sport, it's always evolving. Right now, what's in is these carbon materials that give the ball some grip. I mean, I think if somebody's starting out, which probably would be your next question, is what paddle should you get, is spend the least amount of money when you're first starting. Because, you know, there's a saying, pretty much in any sport, it's not the equipment, it's the user.
So speaking of equipment, what other equipment do you need besides a paddle and a ball?
Probably some kind of court shoes to give you some grip on the court. You need some shoes that give you support, not just forward and back, but some support laterally as well. What else would you need? Well, I mean, just athletic clothes. I'm laughing because I play with a guy who plays in a swimsuit and Crocs.
Well, like you said, as long as you're good, right? Who cares what you're
He's a really good player, but his name is Matt. I'm like, Matt, what are you doing? You're setting a bad example for everybody.
So talk to us a little bit about how you got into pickleball specifically. Did you take lessons? Was it just kind of offered to you? You know, tell us about that journey for you.
2 years ago, right before, was it 3 years ago now? Right before the pandemic, we went to Florida, and we had some friends that lived there, and we went to visit them, and they said, hey, would you like to play pickleball? We're like, oh, I've heard of that. I don't know how you play that. So they kind of introduced us to pickleball, and then the pandemic hit, and then everything shut down, so, you know, we didn't play for a while. And then about 1.5 years ago, I was at my gym, and I saw that there were some people playing pickleball. They had set some nets up, and they had just introduced it to the gym. I said, oh, that kind of looks fun. I played tennis. You know, I played it once before. Let me get into this. So I literally just sort of fell into playing because it looked fun and interesting. And I haven't literally stopped playing since that day.
I love that. I think it just goes to show you that, you know, you try something new because it looks fun and you never know what it might evolve to. One of my last questions, I'd love to hear a little bit more about that strategy that you talked to in the beginning of the interview. Talk to us a little bit about maybe some of the strategies you use or what the main strategy points are in pickleball.
Well, the main strategies are to win. But I would say this, if people listening to this are interested in learning about pickleball, I would find a local rec center where perhaps you could find some beginners, find some lessons. You can take some very inexpensive lessons. So there's a lot of ways to actually learn pickleball and really just get out there and play, because that's how you get better. It's just, you just keep playing, develop your skills, and then you start playing better people, and then you can start entering tournaments, which is my next thing, will be entering tournaments.
Yeah, just like you said, more practice, the better you get, and the more you kind of figure out what works for you and how you're able to play the game and, you know, get into some tournaments. That sounds fun.
And you can be any age to do this. I'll tell you something. My husband and I played in one of our local areas, and we played a guy who was 83, and he kicked our butt.
That's quite the story. I bet he was proud.
Well, you know, because he's been playing for 12 years and his skills are just excellent. So, you know, the story is you don't have to be 20-something to play pickleball and be good at it. A lot of people that you find that are really good pickleball players are actually in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond.
Oh,
So,
that's so
yeah.
inspiring. Amazing. Wow, I definitely learned a lot about pickleball. So thank you so much for sharing all of that.
You're welcome.
I also want to touch a little bit on the social aspect. We know that obviously organized sports are really great for socialization. So tell us a little bit about the benefits in social activity that you've seen with pickleball and what you're liking about that.
Yeah, there's a huge community of pickleball players, and there is, I think a lot of people actually start playing because there is such a big social aspect of it.
And I understand you're in a pickleball group as well, right? Where you girls get together every so often. So that's
we're called the Hot Pepper Ladies Pickleball. Okay, I kind of know why they picked hot pepper, because we're all postmenopausal, hot, right? But so we get together. We've been playing together for a couple of years now. Less frequently in the summer. I've been playing because I'm in a different league. I've been playing some different people. But yeah, it was really fun. We actually get together and do things outside of pickleball.
I love that. So you never know who you're going to meet. You can build a whole new community of friends and, take it from there. That's great. And nice thing about pickleball, it's a very socially distant sport. So that's another good benefit of it as well. Awesome. Sure. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that about pickleball. I definitely learned a lot and I'm kind of excited to try it. So I'm going to end us with a trivia question about pickleball. We'll see if you know it. Who invented pickleball? Do you know the story behind it?
Yes. So it's a great question. I think a lot of people that play pickleball probably do know this answer. Pickleball started in 1965 in Bainbridge, Washington. And there's some rumors that, I think it's the Pritchards, I think that's the last name, named the sport after their dog, Pickles. I don't know that's actually true, but it's kind of a fun, sort of trivia to believe. So
that's incredible. What an incredible story and, a really great opportunity to learn a little bit more about this sport. So I really appreciate your time sharing that with us today.
Play pickleball.
Yes, let's do it. I'm next on my list. I'm going to head to it right now. Okay, Diane. So we're going to end today with a mighty moment. Are you ready to hear the story?
I'm ready.
So today's story is about a 96-year-old man who is a World War II veteran. His name is Joe Gaeta. Hopefully I'm saying that right. He once tried out for the Yankees and still officiates football. And he also put together a fellowship for senior citizens to teach pickleball. And he has kind of put together a whole community of people, getting people to stay active through pickleball, even like badminton, ping pong and stuff like that. So that's a pretty inspiring story of a 96-year-old helping so many people in his community. So have you heard about that story?
Actually have not, but I'm impressed.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's having a great time. So that's very inspiring.
I want to be him.
Well, thank you, Diane, so much for sharing about pickleball and teaching all of us about how it works. Please let us know, all of our viewers, if you have tried pickleball or, if you would like to try pickleball, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you, and we will see you all next time.